hear it, and see it when you want it. On demand, audio and video at 630WPRO.com.
But we meet those people at MAD every day, and I know the young people here meet them at their school every day. So, as a parent, if you lost your child, and a lot of the law enforcement here and the other representatives here are parents, don't they deserve the same stuff? Don't they deserve the same amount of attention? And believe me, it's happening every single day. It doesn't just happen to one child or one family. It happens across. It happens to smart kids. It happens to kids that are academically challenged. It happens to athletes. It happens to law enforcement, parents. It happens to every kind of person out there. So that's what we want to envelop. That's our most important message today, is that it's pervasive. And every child out there, there's no choir anymore. We used to get accused from an organizational point that, oh, you're preaching to the choir. There is no choir. Everybody is challenged by it.
Alcohol-related injury is seen pretty commonly in the emergency department. We see 200,000 emergency department visits for alcohol-related injuries per year in the United States. And we see it in a number of ways. One thing I'd like to talk about is one of the ways that we see it is pretty much what we recognize to be the case, binge drinking. And there was a study a couple of years ago that looked at
an alcohol-related car crash at 10:45 at night. My life's changed forever. My wife's life is changed forever. My daughter's life is changed forever. We have two lives, a pre-John's death and a post-John's death. So my condolences go out to all those people that live in pain every single day and have to deal with the fact, no matter how long it takes, until that they meet their maker themselves, that they're going to have to live with the consequences of choices. And that's what we're here to talk about, are choices. That's what I talk to high school students about. That's what I speak about at the ACI, is the choices that lead to ultimate tragedies. John drank. Bad choice. John got in a car with someone. He was a passenger in the passenger seat who was intoxicated. Bad choice. There were two boys in the back seat who were intoxicated. Bad choice. There were many people involved that evening that led up to his death, that led to that tragedy, that all made choices that contributed to his death. I can't point the finger at anyone. There was an adult involved that night who decided it was okay to sell 3 30-packs of beer to a 16-year-old kid on a Monday night, who then distributed it around town, and eventually my son and his friends got their hands on some. That adult made a bad choice that led to my son's death. All these choices which I preach to young people about that seem so insignificant at the time can snowball to a tragedy. If one person had broken that chain of choices during that afternoon, evening that led to his death, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. If one young person had the courage and the guts to stand up and say, hey, this isn't a good idea, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be drinking, we shouldn't be driving, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But nobody had that courage or that sense to do that. Because you know why? Because as adults, we're complacent. We're invincible. It's not going to happen to me, as you've heard other people say here this morning. Not in a million years is my son dying in an alcohol-related car crash. He was a great kid. Fantastic kid. We loved him to death. He loved us. It doesn't happen to us. It happens to the other family on the other side of town, the other side of the state. It doesn't happen to us. Guess what? There's not a parent or a young person that is immune to this, as you've heard. I found out the hard way 10:45 that evening on November 5th. I'll never forget driving to that crash scene after we got a cell phone call. Never thinking that I was going to find out my son was DOA, or not DOA, but dead on sight. Never did that cross my mind. I thought, oh, I hope he's not hurt. I hope he's not too badly injured. Never did I expect a police officer to hold his hands up in front of me as I approached the car and say, Mr. Converse, your son did not survive the crash. My wife got it right away. Took me a few seconds, minutes, hours for it to kick in. And we live with that every day for the rest of our lives, and I live with that memory every day for the rest of my life because of the choice my son and many other people made that day. You know, there's a phrase used, and I Guilty as charged. Probably used the same phrase many times in my previous life before John's death, and that's, well, kids will be kids. Totally different connotation for me now. Kids will be kids is absolutely correct. Kids will be kids is a scary statement. Because kids are going to experiment. Kids are going to put themselves in dangerous situations, whether they realize it or not.